Well, it's nice to be here, Scott, and thanks for taking the time with HOSS magazine for this exclusive interview.
Absolutely.
So, wow, a new show. How does it feel?
This one's very different. This is, moving the McGillivrays is really the camera focusing on my family and my projects versus, up until now, I've always helped other people with their homes. Mm-hmm. And now this is a show about nobody helping me with mine.
And how did it go? I mean, how was the process?
It's not over yet. We're still, we're going to air and we have not finished. So it's going to happen. Good. It's going to be done, but we're over time and it's been stressful for sure.
Great. I know everyone's going to enjoy watching each show from start to finish. Now, what made you and Sabrina come up with the idea for the show? It's fascinating.
Fascinating. Yeah. Well, it was really almost by accident. We were talking with the network about what was going to be the next project, what else we were going to do. And I said, you know what, I'm happy to take some downtime right now because we're moving. I'm going to have to renovate. We got to find a place. I just have no time. And the, sort of consensus was, well, why don't we do a show about that? And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do a show about my family, but I think we've let the viewers into my home on social and digital, and we've had great feedback. And the shows that I've done for the last 10 years are authentically about me. And so why should this be any different?
So what makes your show so unique, the new show?
Well, the new show is... Gosh, well, first of all, it's been designated as a true reality show, which is pretty rare, all things considered. But it's it follows a process, and it goes way beyond just the home. I think this show is a bit of it's really going to stretch the limits in terms of HGTV. It's not just us building a house and then it's done. It's the entire journey. It's us working with a Habitat for Humanity family. It's it's about leaving our old home. The story, although when you're in it, you're just kind of pushing through as a family. You realize as I watch the footage back, how much is really going on and how challenging this is, and why a lot of people, when they talk about the 5 most stressful things in their life, moving is one of them. Renovating is another one of them, right? Being on camera or public speaking is another. We're doing all of the most stressful things other than dying, which hopefully, we survive this.
You still look healthy.
Or going through a divorce, which hopefully it doesn't happen either. So we're doing the 3 of the 5 toughest things to do all in one shot.
You're doing a great job at it. So what can viewers expect from the first show? And I know it's too early to say the whole season, but I guess looking ahead, what are viewers in for?
They're really going to get the inside scoop. They're going to. It's really everything is a day in the life, but more than a day, obviously, of me and my family and what it takes to renovate a home, our design, our style, our taste. There's tons of reveals and construction, obviously. Plus, it's not just our family. There's another family involved in the show, which is a Habitat for Humanity partner family that we worked with.
Right.
Beautiful family, great story, so deserving. To be able to build that home and our home at the same time, quite the balance.
Wow.
Maybe 10 episodes isn't enough.
Well, you can always keep it going if there's...
No, I'm done. I'm tired.
I really admire how your presence on TV, and I guess the question I want to ask is that you seem just like such a natural in the reality TV world. I mean, there's, it's real. So what sets you apart from other stars that are doing reality TV?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I guess that this is really, it's a little more raw for sure. This is probably the rawest form of content that we've seen or that I've ever produced on the network or seen on the network. It's not, you're not going to sit there and you're not going to be able to predict what happens next because it's just real life. And I feel a little vulnerable about it, to be honest, because it's not like we gave them 3 scenes, this, that, the other thing. We really surrendered to the process, and I'm hoping that at least more people identify with us as a family versus criticize us as a family, I guess.
Gotcha. Rena to Reveal, that's another new project you're doing.
Yes. Rena to Reveal something completely different.
Totally, yeah. And I guess it's tying in your show and what's new. And
sure.
And
it's an evolution, right? We know that the shows are what we do, and it's our greatest way to connect with people. But it's a one-way conversation. Whereas with Reno to Reveal, which is a digital campaign that we're doing, is something that is a conversation. It continues to go back and forth. It's alive and accessible at any time.
Gotcha.
And Reno to Reveal is basically consumable content in like the how-to renovation space, whether it's building a kitchen or a bathroom, all available and sort of step-by-step process on my website.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. So what do you think homeowners will like most about Reno to Reveal? I mean,
I think they'll love the fact that they can get all their questions answered. You know, if you want to do a kitchen, then you go into a kitchen campaign and it tells you how to plan and how to work with contractors and talks about design, and then it shows you step by step how to make things happen. I think they'll enjoy being empowered with information from a credible source. Right? You can go online and find people telling you how to do things. Doesn't mean it's the right advice.
Right.
So.
Right. That's great. That's great. I'm impressed with all your shows and what you've been doing over the years. Now, of course, you have a new show, and that's launching in September 25th.
September 25th.
That's right. Exciting. You love your family. You love what you do.
Absolutely.
But my question is, how do you juggle everything? I'm fascinated by it.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Is finding balance. And my wife and I are very supportive of each other. She has her career, which she's a teacher. Always been very proud of that, and I know she is passionate about it. In the same respect that I'm passionate about what I do, and she's been a huge support pillar for me as well. Obviously, having kids and being a family, we have to carve out that time and make sure that takes priority. But it's not simple, and you have to have great people and trust them. And I'm probably not going to take on this much ever again, though. This is like find your limit and then pull back a little bit.
I understand. Now, as I see it, you were never a gentleman that got into. You walked into the industry because you're passionate what you do. You have a lot of passion. Of course, passion brings success. So I guess from where you were, say 10 years ago till now, what's it like now rising to fame when your intent was just to go out and work, get dirty, do your thing, and just follow your passion? Now you're famous for it. Really, the United States of America, you're a household name.
It's pretty surreal. Sometimes you just kind of remember how you started and why you wanted to get here. And TV was never part of the plan. It just so happened I had a friend who worked in television and said, can you help us on this renovation show? We need a guy that knows what he's doing. And I came in to help behind the scenes on a few things. And from there, just being authentic to what I did, not trying to say, oh, I should do a show about, landscaping, which isn't my forte. I can do landscaping, but it's not a show that I would be appropriate for. And, the network and the production company at the time both said, well, what is it you do? And I said, well, I do basement apartments, rental properties, I invest in real estate. And they're like, can we do a show about that? So if we do a show about that, it's going to be real. It's going to be what I do. Right. And so that's where the show was born. And who knew? At first I was like, I don't know who's going to be interested in construction and rental properties. But now I'm like, okay, I get it. It's a pretty awesome gig.
For
and,
sure.
It makes you money, and it's your home, and it's important. And it's been, I guess you could say I'm thankful and pretty surreal. The whole thing feels a little surreal, to be honest.
Okay, interesting.
I don't take it for granted.
Absolutely. You're also a man who believes in giving back, and I noticed that with the Habitat for Humanity in your new show. Tell me why. I mean, obviously I know why, but how does it feel helping that cause, and why did you pick them? I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. I started working with Habitat for Humanity 10 years ago. And, started with some support of the Restore, and then working with volunteer hours, and then I got involved with the fundraisers. Then I started doing, spokesperson and emceeing events and trying to help. And, it feels good, and you realize that, not everyone is fortunate, and it's not like I believe like some people are lucky and some people aren't lucky, but there are certain circumstances where it's out of your control. Your situation is out of your own control. And Habitat is one of those organizations that doesn't just come in and say, well, here's a house, congratulations, go live there. Because it would probably attract the wrong individuals who may not be able to support that situation. Whereas Habitat is a hand up, not a handout. And I love the idea that to earn one of these homes, you've got to give your volunteer hours. You have to be a competent individual who's actually working towards making your life better. But clearly, a little bit of a boost would help you go a long way. So I like to help people that are helping themselves. And that's why I aligned with Habitat. And to see these families working hard, still getting mortgages, right? It's just that these mortgages are at favorable interest rates so that they can afford home ownership, and they're just trying to get into safe, appropriate homes that they can afford to pay mortgages on, and really enjoy home ownership, which I thoroughly enjoy, and I've made my own business out of it, and so. We're just so aligned on many levels, and when it came to doing the show this year, working with Habitat almost was jeopardized by the fact that we were like, we're going to be so busy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a Habitat build this year, and that's when we said, no, we have to do it. Let's make it part of the show so that we can actually do more instead of doing less. And that actually, it became the most involved I've ever been with a build. To the point where I met the family and got to know them, and worked in their home, and it was spectacular. It really only took it to the next level for me.
That's great. It must feel great, obviously, helping them, knowing that you are.
Honestly, it felt like when we got this family into their home, it felt like the end of the show to me. And I turned to my wife. I said, okay, we got them in a house. Now we got to get us in a house. I said, we're not done yet.
Right.
Even though it felt like this was it. This is what we were working on. It's like we're still working on our place too. So. Good.
Yeah. Question I want to ask: what advice would you offer for someone who, would say is going to buy a home, but they have a lot of renos to do? The price is right, but there's a lot of renos. It's a question a lot of people ask. Where do they? And it might seem like a lot taller of a question, but I guess. What would be the one or two things you would advise somebody buying a new home who had to definitely fix it up?
Well, it's intimidating, obviously. Buying something that needs work is very intimidating, but it's also probably one of the things you will thank yourself for the most when you look back. Along the lines of, we bought that place, we put sweat equity into it, we fixed it up. And we not only loved it as a home, but it became so much more valuable. It's called forced appreciation, right? When you do renovations that add value. And for some people, it will be one of the largest sources of wealth they will ever achieve in their lives, which is fantastic. But it's not easy. It is not easy. There's a reason why renovating a home is considered one of the most stressful things that a person can do. And if you can be as prepared as possible, meaning you've got a budget and a contingency because you're going to go over budget, you've got a timeline, and you've got extra time because you're going to go over time as well, and you're savvy about the process. I mean, going back to the idea of reno to reveal, the reason why I do these online campaigns is to get people as prepared as possible so that it can happen fast, it can happen on budget. And the process can be as painless as possible, even though there's going to be a little bit of discomfort.
September 25th is going to be a big night.
Yes, it is.
And I guess overall, what will viewers walk away with after watching the first show?
After watching the first show, so the first show is a little bit different. I mean, we get into the thick of it very quickly. The show moves very fast. By the third or fourth episode, we're already revealing rooms that have been completed. So it's not like it's not one of those shows that moves very slowly. This thing is like boom, 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 and even to watch it back, I'm like, I can't believe 4 months got crunched into 1 hour of content. Like, I'm losing my mind here. So it's I think that people after the first episode will either have bought into the journey and decided to come along, or they're just going to want to watch to wait and see what happens. One
more quick question. What's it like being in a TV series now with your entire family? I mean, it's
It's scary. It's
Your
scary. Some
daughter's
people,
wife?
you know,
Yeah.
people say don't mix business with pleasure, and that's exactly what I did.
Okay.
Right. But my wife's been cool about the whole thing. You know, she's very supportive. We have a great relationship.
Yes.
And I have people are like, "Ooh, are you guys at each other? Is this going to be a love-hate thing?" And I said, "Actually, no. If you're looking for that, there's other shows you can watch." I said, "This is more of a love story. Like we are, you know, we're a young family, and there's enough problems in the world that we don't have to make each other a problem."
Right. Well said. What's next? I know the new show. The show's being launched on September 25th, and a lot of people are going to be watching it. But in terms of your career, what anything short-term, long-term down the road we can expect as well?
Lots of things going on. We are working on another show called Buyer's Boot Camp, which we've already released an episode, and it did extremely well. So we're really happy about that. I think people are going to fall in love with that show as well. And, you know, I continue to teach people about real estate investing across North America with KeySpire. That's an organization that, on top of all of this, is growing exponentially. It was just ranked the 11th fastest growing company in the country in the Profit 500, and we're the #1 in our category. So it is, you know, it's amazing to be part of something that's growing so quickly, but it's also hard to hold on to the reins when you're in front, right?
Yeah.
So just keeping it all together.
You are.
I think I'm okay. We'll see. I'll be happy when the house is done.
Yeah.
You know, I think the last episode might be live at this point if we don't finish up soon.
Well, you look great. I'm glad you're well, and thank you
you.
so much for taking the time today and for the interview. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.